Awesome. So here we are doing the next one, Rainbow Rocks, which is so cool. So super exciting intro here, and it kind of develops the characters. So I'll just stay about this kind of voice level, and I'll let you guys start going into it. And so this is kind of where the last movie left off. I'm warning you guys, they up their music quality in this one. It's really good. Now notice how they look like so innocent or, safe, with like sweatpants and sweatshirts on. But you gotta sort of like look past that and look at like the core. And this is kind of what they see here is their core showing through this. Now here's a difficult part because like Sunset, she's got to try to fit in with everybody else, but she's got such a negative place she's starting at. It's just tough to make it work. So the way to overcome that, right, is to just like find that power group that will accept you and will be part with you, so that you can have like that positivity in a sea of negativity. Because that power group and that base is really what matters more than about 80% of what matters is that core mastermind. And notice how she tries to focus here on the benefits for the kids, right? Like when you're selling an event, you're selling an idea, you're selling like something that requires a lot of the people to be part of it. Like you want to show others the benefit that they will receive by, playing a part in your event or playing a part in your role. And notice how, like, as a group, right, they have an ability to use positive spin on this. See, this is this mentality you want to have that, like, no matter what happens or no matter how many challenges you face, like, every single day you have is the best day ever. And that's exactly what they do, which is just so powerful because it uses positive, happy, great, just energy, just huge. And so here we start to introduce like some conflict, right? Because it's like egotism. She's trying to take credit for the group. And then we have like criticism here, which again is really, really bad, really, really negative, which sucks. And it hurts. Like you can see that it has an impact on them. Like it makes them it's just bad. You don't want to criticize ever, right? And it just destroys their relationship. And see, now you see them they're being transparent about their emotions and their feelings, which is just the most powerful thing. See, now you see this conflict between like Rainbow feeding her ego and just doing whatever she wants and disregarding others, versus like actually accepting someone else's idea and allowing them to feel significant, feel important, feel part of the band, part of the community. And it's really, you'll see how it plays out. But it's this idea of like personal growth versus sacrificing yourself, so that the group can do better as a whole, which is huge. I notice how the group here has to they have to support um, sort of this challenge with positivity, with positive energy, and with growth, right? With growth mindset and quality. Because the group is more powerful than the whole, and the group will pull the individual. It's so much more powerful than the individual that it will pull the individual up to a peak state, a beautiful state, as a team, which is huge. And here you see like just arguments coming out of just bogus criticism, which really doesn't help them. And so you see like forced authority here. Again, a bad way to sort of bring a group to its peak state. So notice how they take something that should be positive, something that was a group event that was going to bring everyone together, and they spin it off to create this negative energy, this destructive competition, this meaningless and senseless criticism that just crushes each other. It's awful. And so here you see sort of this idea that like everyone's sort of accidentally over and over and over kind of insulting Sunset. It really hurts on a subconscious level, and just grows and accumulates negativity in these relationships, and we'll start to see how that plays out later. So notice here how there's conflicts of interest, right? And you see like in Wall Street, you see this in financial firms all the time. This idea that like you just it's a tough way to make calls, um, because the parties involved like they're significantly affected by the results of the decision, right, and the outcome. And so it's tough to sometimes do the right thing, if there are conflicts of interest, which is what happened there. And here again, you see like they're just slowly over and over and over again, dissing on sunset, and it really is just harsh. It's harsh. Not like it's not like deserved, but it's harsh. And then you see kind of like here, her not really um, valuing Rarity's like care. You know, she kind of like streaks this, nail gloss all over her arm. And so you'll see sort of later throughout the film like how these guys are sort of just little things like that keep growing, and build up little tensions in their relationships, which sort of destroys and breaks down the mastermind, which is just not too good, right? Because this negative energy is just poison. We're coming home. See like different perspectives from those in the mastermind can lead to what? They can lead to breakthroughs. It just needs you just need like other people to look at the same problem and come up with their own solutions. And obviously, like Pinky couldn't actually build what Twilight's about to build, in any way whatsoever. But without Pinky's inspiration, like Twilight would never be able to do or have the inspiration to do this, right? And so it's a collective effort of everyone in the mastermind that leads to more and more and more success and development than one person could ever have on their own. See, like usually, like as you start to get to a point of a failure, a point where you want to turn around, right? You're usually at about 40 to 60% of your actual capacity. And that might be when you want to give up, right? And that might when you want to say, something's not going to happen, or it's not real, or you're going to give up, right? And this happens so much, like especially like at least for me, like running or just working out, pumping. Like usually, like when you think you're at your max, you're really only maybe 40 to 60% of the way there. And you just have to power through and keep on going harder and harder and harder. And that's what happens here, right? They have to wait just a little bit longer, and then Twilight comes through, right? And it's really interesting because like the moment you want to change your behavior, the moment you want to do something new, is very often just a little bit before the actual breakthrough comes through. And all you have to do is the same thing. Just keep doing it over and over and over again, and stay with your consistent pattern of action that you know will actually get you that end result. So for these guys, right, like all they could do is sit there. There was nothing else they could do. And it led to success, right? Like she came through at the end. And they got the end result they wanted. You just have to be patient and persistent and keep going hard. She's got like a blackberry. And so there it is again, right? This idea that they're just crushing this relationship, and they need to have some sort of change. They need to have some sort of shift um, that's going to let her come back and build up that face, right? Build up her public face, because right now her face has been destroyed, and her reputation is just dead. And there needs to be a way for her to really build herself back up again. Criticism, just not the best way to grow as a team. Just got a cookie. And so then you see kind of like obviously there's this they use like green smoke or whatever, but it's just negativity, right, and arguments and just destructive forces, and it's just detrimental to everyone there, and you kind of see it fueling the sirens here. Just a bad state to be in, right? You want to focus on that beautiful state. You want to focus on that peak state. You want to focus on positive energy. Bam, right? Like notice how what? Where's that come from? It comes from a new member of the mastermind. It comes from an outside perspective. It comes from someone who has a stronger background in like magic than anyone else does. And she just needs like Twilight. What she needs someone else to help. She needs the mastermind to be their supporter, so that as a group they can collectively find the answer and have the success they want, which is exactly what happens here when Starlight speaks out. See what you seek a challenge. It's a challenge, right? It's an opportunity for her to succeed. And it just sucks they don't include sunset in it. And we'll see how that plays out later. But just this idea that like you've got to what yet include everyone in the mastermind. Um, then use those opportunities as ways to grow and challenges to overcome, rather than problems. They're talking about like end of season 3. So like, what are they searching for, right? They're searching for a leader. They're searching for someone to guide them, because everyone wants someone to guide them, right? And it's just they need that outside perspective, to see sort of what the next step is and where to move. And hopefully he'll Fletch I stand out because like just it sucks because like sort of Rainbow took control over everything, and it just crushes their ability to work together as like a team, right? Because they're not collaborating, but instead they're sort of it's a back and forth, and that's just not the way to have that long term success, right? You have to do it as a group. You have to do it as a team. You have to do it together. And he can't just be like the king on the bed, as Rainbow is like that. Like it doesn't work like that. Also, there's a donut. There's that George has got now, so that's kind of funny. Oh, and you guys remember Maud, right? She was like Pinky's sister, so just some background there. And it sucks here, right? Because she's not like being transparent. She's not sharing the work with others. And you've got to be transparent, like not just with emotions, right, but like with the actual work that you do. And see, here's the challenge, right? Because she wants so badly to raise her hand and ask for help, but she just doesn't. She just doesn't do it, which hurts. It's hard, and she has this limiting belief that like she has to be able to do it on her own. When in reality, like the only way they're gonna have success is by working together as a group. So that's how you kind of get to this part right here, where it's like really messy. And see, same thing here, right? Like it crushes them, the criticism and the negativity, and you kind of see Rainbow like trying to lead everything on her own, instead of working with the power of the group, which is just not the strat. So here again is this idea that like she's being like forced like a ton of responsibility on her, and it's just very very difficult to raise your hand and ask for help, which is exactly what she needs to do here. And you kind of see she's having like a nervous breakdown because she needs help. So we'll see how that plays out. So you notice how these three, right? Just a little bit ago, they're plotting together, right? And they're planning together, and even though they have like negativity, and even though to a certain extent, like they're complaining against one another, um, they still like work together, right? And as a team, they're still able, the sirens are still able to have such a huge impact because they're able to work together, because they're able to have an impact as a group, which is so much more powerful. And you're already expressing yourself, which is cool. So to see this tension build up here because they don't deal with the small problems. They don't deal with the small challenges. They don't deal with the small misalignments with each other at the beginning, and so it just grows and grows and grows in power internally, which is just bad, right? So you've got to deal with those challenges at the beginning. So here you see what? You see challenge, you see competition, um, and you see just negative energy drive these kids to terrible, terrible, terrible heights, to do just awful things to try to win this competition, this prize for, I mean, sabotage. Yeah, I mean, it's just awful what they do, and this is why, like, when I play like stuff for fun or like with family or with friends, and we go and we play like mini golf or just some fun kind of game. Like I won't, you just don't keep score, don't make it a competition, because it can drive you to like these terrible, terrible states where you're focusing on winning more than actually enjoying the process, and it leads to this argument, it leads to this negativity, it leads to these complaints. And Sunset points out here, like, right, these guys are doing an amazing, amazing job, but they don't feel like they are because they don't have the appreciation of each other, which just destroys their momentum and it crushes them, which is really, 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 it's bad. So you've got to focus on positivity, or else that negative energy will just drag you down, which is awful. And you'll see that here. And so here's the cool part, because you see like a member of the mastermind come out and actually stand up for what's right, and do what like should happen. So even if it's not everyone at once, like, you'll have individuals that go out and actually perform at their peak and do what's best for everyone, because they see the goal that everyone is moving towards, and they want to support that in any way possible, which is the insane, insane, insane power of like the collective group. So you see, like, these guys just at least like the main six, like everyone but Twilight, like just argument after argument, and it just grows and grows and grows. And even though they're moving towards their goal of like getting to this final, and even though they're getting closer and closer to their deadline, they're not actually getting closer as a group. They're not actually getting closer as a community, and it just crushes their potential. And we'll see how that plays out soon. Because at least they're on our own. Oh, this one's actually really good. But it shows like, she just doesn't can just, it's bad. You'll see how it works out. Because you have to consider all the perspectives in the mastermind. You have to value each and every individual. Because they all add something unique. They all add something special. And see, this is just awful because what's it do? It crushes the group, and they feel just totally distant. So you have to always be proud and maintain pride in the group mentality, right? Because it's not just her; it's everyone there. Like the people that you know got Neil Armstrong on the moon. It wasn't just Neil Armstrong; it was everyone who was part of that, right? And everyone's involved, and it sucks that it's on such time. Well, and so you see, like, as she's performing, right? Like, everyone else, and everyone in the group except for Rainbow, I mean, they just all feel terrible. Because basically they're not being valued whatsoever. And all the focus is on one individual. And remember, one individual, like, it's just not going to work as well as a group. And I remember this one analogy that I heard one time that totally changed this whole perspective for me. And it's this idea of, you know, on a soccer field, if you have, you know, if you want to get the ball to the other side and you want to score a goal as fast as possible, they have this one guy and he tries, it's like, go run as fast as you can, faster than the ball. And he kicks the ball and he's like trying to run faster than the ball. It's just not possible, right? Like the ball rolls faster than he can move. And the point of it is like, as with a team, if you can pass the ball will move so much faster than you can run. And as a group, you have so much more speed than any individual could ever even dream of running on their own. And that's exactly what we see here with Rainbow. She's trying to run as fast as she can on her own, but in reality, if she just freaking kicked the ball to her teammate, it would be 3 times faster, which is so powerful. Because you could be working your butt off, but in all reality, to have the best result possible, it very often comes with less effort working with a group, working with a team, working with more individuals. Because, like, peak efficiency very often comes alongside sedentariness. It often comes alongside, you know, not maximum work potential. Because as a group, you're able to achieve more, and therefore it takes less work to actually get the same amount of things done. You know, it's much easier to kick a ball to 3 people across a field than to sprint across the field. So here you see, obviously planting the seeds of doubt. But more importantly, they're trying to crush their competition with violence. And we'll see how it plays out in a sec. But the key here is, like, you're never going to get that end result that you want if you go through, like, cheating ways. So it's just a bad way. So here's an example too where, like, you don't want to correct other people. It's just not worth it, right? You just want to let them be themselves, let them stick with their own statements, and leave them to be independent rather than take the advantage. Like, it feels good to correct them, but it's just not the way to go. Really good song though. A lot of these songs, if you want to hear more of them, they're all on YouTube. Just look them up. You get, like, the full ones that aren't cut. Some of them, like, they get cut short, like, so yeah, it's good stuff. Here's persistence, keep going as a team. So here you see kind of all those small issues, those small challenges have been building up, really erupting. I remember this used to happen all the time. My life is awful, right? So you don't deal with things at the core, they'll just grow and grow and grow. It's just an awful place to be in. So now what has to happen is they have to have, like, an outside force come in, and someone, from a neutral third party point of view, like, change everything by allowing them to stand sort of as their own. And so we'll see how that comes out. So sometimes, like, to open the door, you got to take a second to step back and try to pull it, or just get a new approach towards something. And so Spike comes and does that as a third party, as a neutral, someone with a new perspective, which is pretty powerful. So now you see like the actual change, in them as they appreciate each other much, much more now. And so they appreciate each other and they praise each other. And that's really, the goal, right? So that praise, what? It builds them up, builds them up, builds them up, builds them up, and it grows everyone as a collective group towards the next level of impact, and it allows them to do what they do right after this. And so you see, right, like the most powerful thing here, right, is not like this attempt to draw people apart, this attempt to create enemies. But in reality, the most powerful thing is when a new friend comes into the group, and you create new collaboration and new connections with individuals, and they realize that everyone has to come together, right? And they let Starlight in. She becomes part of the mastermind, wholly, emotionally, which is the biggest key transformation. And see, no one even knew, right? Because they didn't take time to ask, and so you just gotta ask as you embrace, new connections, right? Oh, Pinky gets messed up here. Oh, they just do so good at the end here. And then you sort of see a little bit of the next one, so we'll let it go. You see, like that idea that like they're looking up, they're looking, with their heads high towards the future. That positive growth mindset, so huge. You have to continually, as a group, always look towards that next, goal, that next achievement. And then there's kind of a teaser for the next movie. it's just like something so insane, so powerful. Just this insane ability to sort of overcome those challenges, move towards that future, and have that growth. So they all come together and they just have this huge success at the end, which is it's just massive. So really powerful underlying concepts here. It's just insanely cool. So yeah, oh man, huge stuff. So thank you guys so much. We get a ton of value from it, and I will see you in the next movie, hopefully. So thanks, and see you sec. Bye. Yay.